President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi extends greetings to Egyptian Copts across the country. Egypt extends condolences to China following devastating earthquake that struck the country's southwest. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli reviews the progress achieved by the Bedaya, or a new beginning for human development presidential initiative, in the past 100 days. You're watching the latest updates from Egypt on Qnews, and let's move on to the latest developments. As Copts commence their Christmas celebrations, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi extended his greetings to Egyptian Copts across the country. In a statement, President el-Sisi added that Egypt will always remain a beacon of coexistence, unity and love among its people of various religions. President el-Sisi also sent greetings to Pope Tawadros II of Alexandria and Patriarch of the See of St. Mark. Egyptian First Lady Intisar el-Sisi has greeted Egyptian Coptic Christians on the occasion of Christmas. The First Lady, via her official Facebook page, wished Egyptians many happy returns on the occasion of the blessed Coptic Christmas, a celebration embodying love and peace. She also prayed for unity and love among all. Egypt has extended heartfelt condolences to China following the devastating earthquake that struck southwest China, causing significant casualties and injuries. Egypt expressed full solidarity with the Chinese government and people in facing the aftermath of this tragic disaster. It offered deep sympathy to the victims' families and wished a swift recovery to all those injured. Foreign Minister Badr Abdel discussed the developments in Lebanon and the upcoming presidential elections with the French Special Envoy to Lebanon, Jean-Yves Le Drian. Abdel emphasized the need to reach a purely Lebanese consensus to end the country's presidential vacuum without any external impositions. He also stressed the importance of empowering Lebanon's national institutions, noting that Egypt will continue to provide all forms of support to Lebanon during this critical phase. Foreign Minister Badr Abdel and his Seychelles counterpart Sylvester Radigonde have discussed strengthening bilateral relations between the two countries. During the call, the ministers discussed enhancing economic and developmental cooperation. They also exchanged views on regional African issues, including strengthening the African Union's role in security and stability. They agreed to continue coordination on shared priorities and support each other's nominations in regional and international forums. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Immigration and Egyptian Expatriates Badr Abdel stated that caring for Egyptian citizens abroad and enhancing consular services are top government priorities. During his official visit to Oman, Abdel met with the Egyptian community, emphasizing the ministry's efforts to improve communication and address their concerns. He also praised the community's role in promoting Egyptian-Omani relations. During his visit, the Egyptian foreign minister attended the Egyptian-Omani Business Forum in Muscat alongside Omani officials and business leaders. Abdel emphasized Egypt's commitment to strengthening ties with Oman and highlighted key investment opportunities in Egypt, including smart cities, transportation, and the Suez Canal economic zone. Abdel urged Omani businesses to capitalize on incentives and contribute to Egypt's ambitious development projects, reinforcing the forum's role in advancing bilateral economic cooperation. Egypt's ambassador to Sierra Leone, Rasha Suleiman, has said that Cairo is committed to promoting Egyptian ties with African countries and enhancing cooperation at various levels. In a meeting with Chief Justice Komba Kamanda, Suleiman discussed enhancing judicial cooperation, emphasizing Egypt's support for Sierra Leone's capacity-building needs and offering training for judicial personnel. She also highlighted the interest in digitizing court services and exploring further cooperation opportunities. This meeting precedes the African country's participation in the 8th high-level meeting of African Supreme Constitutional Court chiefs, scheduled for January the 27th and 28th in Cairo. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has received a report on the progress achieved by Bedaya, or a new beginning for human development presidential initiative, in the past 100 days. Deputy Prime Minister for Human Development and Minister of Health and Population Khalid Abdel Ghaffar has stated that up to 288,190,627 services have been provided during 100 days. As many as 1,525 medical convoys were dispatched, providing 1.587 million services, according to the report. In addition, 2,284,436 women have benefited from the Bedaya initiative's development of the Egyptian family and women's empowerment. Now we go live to Florida, where U.S. President-elect Donald Trump speaks at Mar-a-Lago.
Powers that haven't really been used in terms of environmental. If you invest over $1 billion in the United States, we're going to give expedited reviews to everybody because everyone's afraid they're going to come in and get caught in the quagmire, which is very prevalent in the United States, unfortunately, the quagmire of environmental and various other regulations and rules. And I made it a point of telling people, if you invest $1 billion or more, and we'll do this for people with far less too, but we guarantee it, we're going to move them quickly through the environmental process. Sometimes people held up 12, 13, 14, 15 years. I saw it with plants in Louisiana where I got it approved in literally a week. They were through the review in 1 week after spending 14 and a half years trying to get it, and they were going nowhere. It was a terrible thing. So I've been a victim of that myself over the years, and I think I know all the games and all the tricks that are played, and much of it is just done to stop progress. So we're going to be helping you and everybody else that comes to the United States and wants to invest their money, that you don't get tied up for the rest of your life and you can't do anything. This commitment further underscores that many of the greatest business leaders on earth are seeing a very bright economic future for America since the election. As you know, a lot of positive things have happened. We are inheriting a difficult situation from the outgoing administration, and they're trying everything they can to make it more difficult. Inflation is continuing to rage, and interest rates are far too high. And I've been disappointed to see the Biden administration's attempt to block the reforms of the American people and that they voted for. We had a landslide election. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of people. Nobody even knows how many people, millions. And they're still counting in some areas. You know, they're still counting the vote in some areas. Can you believe this? What a place. What a horrible place. One of the things we're going to do is we've got to fix the election so that we get honest counts and they get done by 10 o'clock in the evening or something thereabouts. They have places where they're still counting votes. President Biden's actions yesterday on offshore drilling, banning offshore drilling, will not stand. I will reverse it immediately. It'll be done immediately. And we will drill, baby, drill. And we're going to be drilling in a lot of other locations. And the energy costs are going to come way down. They'll be brought down to a very low level. And that's going to bring everything else down. That's what caused it to go up, along with the ridiculous spending on the Green New scam. All this money, trillions of dollars. It's like throwing it right out the window, what they're doing. And they're trying to spend so much now. They're just taking money and giving it to anybody that wants it for any project at all, if it's certified under the Green New scam. And they don't work, and it's too expensive. And, you know, they told me that we're going to do everything possible to make this transition to the new administration very smooth. It's not smooth because they're doing that. They're playing with the courts, as you know. They've been playing with the courts for 4 years, probably got me more votes because I got the highest number of votes ever gotten by a Republican, by far, actually, by a lot. And, you know, we had a great election, so I guess it didn't work. But even to this day, they're playing with the courts. They have their friendly judges that like to try and make everybody happy on the Democrat side. It's called lawfare. It's called weaponization of justice, and it's happened at a level nobody's ever seen before. So many. I defeated deranged Jack Smith. He's a deranged individual. I guess he's on his way back to The Hague, and we won those cases. Those were the biggest ones, and the press made such a big deal out of them, but we did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong on anything, and the people saw that. You know, when they vote when a Republican, it's not easy for a Republican. When the Republican wins the popular vote by millions and wins all 7 of the swing states, people said, well, he could win 4. We won all 7, and we won them by a lot. That tells you we won. That tells, and they've been watching this injustice. I call it the Injustice Department. What they've done is so bad. The whole world has watched that. And it took work, but it got me a lot of votes because when explained, I mean, we have a judge in New York who's a very crooked judge. I'm under a gag order. I can't even talk about aspects of the case that are the most vital aspects. I'm under a gag. Do you know that I'm the president-elect of the United States of America? I'm a former very successful president. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We had borders that were sealed and beautiful. Everything was good. We had no wars. We defeated ISIS. We had no wars. Now I'm going into a world that's burning with Russia and Ukraine, with Israel. You took a look at that attack on October 7th, the attack on Israel, with the horrible way they got out. Not the fact that they got out. I would have been out before them. But we would have been out of Afghanistan with dignity and strength as opposed to looking like a bunch of fools with 13 dead and many, many badly, horrifically injured. Nobody ever talks about them. No arms, no legs. Nobody ever talks about them. The way they got out was outrageous, leaving billions of dollars of brand new military equipment that I bought in the hands of the Afghans and specifically the Taliban. It's the group. And we were doing very well. We would have been out. We would have been respected. I think it's one of the reasons it was so badly handled, that withdrawal where people are jumping onto airplanes, falling off the sides of airplanes when they're 3,000 feet in the air. And nobody's ever seen anything like that, the worst. And because of that, I think Russia went and attacked Ukraine. When they saw that, they said, these guys are incompetent. They don't know what they're doing. But we know what we're doing now. And that's going to all end. And we have a great military. I defeated ISIS, as you know. We're in no wars. I just finished a couple. And we got also our soldiers guarding Syria and Turkey. We're in the middle. We had 5,000 soldiers. They would have been gobbled up with two armies. We had one army, 300,000. We had another one, 500,000 or 600,000, getting ready. We had 5,000 people in the middle. I said to a general, how do 5,000 people do in that case? And the general just looked at me and said, not well, sir, not well. And I took him out. And you know what happened? Nothing. I got criticized. I saved 5,000 lives, actually. And we did a great job, and we're going to do an even better job because now we have a tremendous amount of experience. We have people that I can rely on. But the 625 million acres, people can't realize, it's like the whole ocean. Take an acre. You know, an acre, you have a house on a half an acre, on a quarter of an acre, or an acre. If you have an acre, you have a big deal. Now you multiply that by 625 million acres. It's like, feels like the whole ocean. And that's our strength, you know. People can say we manufacture, we don't manufacture. The thing we have oil and gas more than anybody in the world. We're going to have more of it, too. But they took away 625 million acres of offshore drilling. Nobody else does that. And they think they have it, but we'll put it back. I'm going to put it back on day one. I'm going to have it revoked on day one. We'll go immediately if we need to. I don't think we should have to go to the courts. But if we do have to go to the courts, you know, they try to be sneaky. They go in and they sign. Remember, this is a man that said he wants the transition to be smooth. Well, you don't do the kind of things. You don't have a judge working real hard to try and embarrass you.
That was U.S. President-elect Donald Trump speaking at Mar-a-Lago, where he said that he will improve the U.S. investment environment. He talked about so many things. He talked about the internal American issues. He talked about the amount of problems that he described as inherited from the previous administration of Joe Biden. He also mentioned the landslide victory of himself, and he talked about votes still being counted until this day. He also talked about the problems being faced in several departments, such as the Department of Justice, for example, and he called it even the Department of Injustice. This is his description. He also talked about regional and international issues. He talked about the war in Ukraine, the Russian-Ukrainian war, the Middle East conflicts, and other issues. This brings us to the end of our news bulletin, and we have been covering many aspects. Here is what we have been covering. Abdel Fattah al-Sisi extends greetings to the Egyptian Copts across the country. Egypt extends condolences to China following devastating earthquake that struck the country's southwest. And Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli reviews the progress achieved by Bedaya, or New Beginning for Human Development presidential initiative in the past 100 days. That's all for now. Remember to stay updated by following Q News for the latest developments. I'm Hala Al-Hamalawi. Thank you very much for watching.